Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. We are here today with Brian Harris, who is the director of TotalPrint USA. Good morning, Brian. How are you, sir?
Doing great, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being a guest on the show today. Um, you know, well, I was going to ask you first, where are you located at? I don't think I've ever asked you where you're at in the country.
Yeah, we're down here in sunny Tampa, Florida. That's where the corporate headquarters are.
Okay, Tampa, Florida. Well, you're not too far from me. I'm up a little bit in South Carolina, but not too far. Y'all dealing with pollen yet at all?
Yeah, we got a lot of oak trees around. So yeah, our driveway is a different color right now, but we'll fight through.
Well, I can certainly relate to that. It is a lot of pollen here in South Carolina too. So yeah, we're almost out of the winter. I think they said what about 4 more days of winter, and then it officially becomes spring. I think.
Yeah, I don't know the ruling on that. We're dealing with the daylight savings time, so but our weather in Florida is pretty nice. My plans are to probably get out and start doing a little after work golfing again with my parents. So
Nice.
we're all set.
Well, Florida's a great place to go golfing for sure. I'll be getting out doing some yard work. I'm not a big golfer, but I certainly like to go out and hit the ball a few times. So awesome. Well, listen, I want to ask you, how did you get into managed print? What's your background?
Well, I never thought I'd be 20 years of selling print and copy. My background is I sold IT, and I did that for I don't know close to 12, 15 years. And the game changed, and the manufacturers are controlling the pricing. And I had this little print company down the street from me that kept bugging me, this penny a page program, and all my friends made fun of me for talking about penny a page. So let me run this by some of my CIO buddies and see what they think about it. And they all loved it. What a great idea, get them out of the print business and save them some money along the way. So fast forward to 20 years later, and this is what I do.
I kind of like that penny a page. It's got a certain
Yeah,
ring to it.
yeah. Well, that was before things got crazy where we could do a penny a page. But I like math. I like decimals. And we certainly dig into some numbers in this business. So I like solving problems and figuring out how to make a little money on our side and save the client a little bit of money on theirs.
There you go. That's what it's all about. So, well, you are with a company now called Total Print USA. What can you tell us about Total Print USA?
Well, we are the managed print division of a company called Dex Imaging, and
Okay.
essentially, we provide and support printers and copiers with, toner parts, on-site service, where we may have a simple program where our clients just pay for two things, rental of anything that we provide to them, which we're going to talk about that,
Sure.
and they pay for any usage, any prints or copies they produce. What's really puts our company on steroids is that we have this national service footprint, which means we outsource virtually none of our service, which that is just a game changer for many reasons. We have warehouses across the U.S., full of devices, parts, supplies, and really, from a pricing standpoint, we buy direct from the manufacturers. We buy in bulk. We buy
Okay.
in advance. So, we don't get a deal and then go try to find the equipment. So what that does is that just really gives me I have the freedom to create a program that benefits us and really benefits the clients.
Okay.
Um, yeah, go ahead.
Very nice.
So, okay. So before, I get into the details about how we're different from a traditional copier company, which is what I'm going to talk about. I wanted to just share a little story about my leadership team here, regarding the pandemic, if you will.
Sure.
And when things were getting real, things were starting to shut down, and companies were really going, okay, we got to hunker down. Our leadership team, we did the complete opposite, and this is an important story for anybody that's going to entrust us with their clients. We purchased every toner cartridge that we could find on the market and added that to our already full warehouses. We didn't lay off any technicians during the pandemic, and we actually were acquiring businesses and growing our national service footprint. So when the world started opening back up, we were ready to support our clients. I mean, there were plenty of
Very
companies in
nice.
our business, they couldn't get supplies for their clients. They couldn't get devices for their clients.
So you
And
actually prepared ahead of time.
leadership here they look forward, and believe me, it wasn't just toilet paper uh, that was that was an issue, right? I mean, any IT people that are watching this or see this, they're going to know anything with a chip was a problem. It affected laptops, it affected
Yeah,
printers, pretty much any technology. And so so that's happening. We're coming out of it. And at that same time, we started noticing that copier companies and even manufacturers like Xerox, for example, were getting into the managed services game. And and all of a sudden, our message was getting out, and MSPs are starting to reach out to us. And it was usually one of three things, right? It was I introduced a copier company to my client. Now they're trying to take our business, or
mm.
they're always looking to add MRR to their stack. Or the funniest one is they got pulled into print and they want out. They made the mistake helping helping a client with a toner cartridge or finding some drivers for them, and the next thing they know, they were the print support company. And MSPs are pretty much built to be on the keyboard. The print and copy support world is an on-site business.
It
Uh,
is.
so I already had an agent program that provided an MRR payment structure, right? Monthly reoccurring revenue, which everyone loves. Um, we certainly have the capability to take print off anyone's plate. And our leadership team, I speak so highly of them. They chose, and I went to them and I said, everyone's getting into it. They chose to embrace my business model, and they chose to embrace the MSP versus competing with them. So it was really a match made in heaven. Fast forward to today, we're adding 15 MSPs a month. We're growing
Nice.
rapidly, and that's because those copier endpoints and those printers that all the MSPs just want nothing to do with, they can no longer be ignored.
Well,
So
I think that that is a major deal for MSPs. They're worried about getting connected with large printer companies because they're worried about them taking their clients. So that's always in the back of every MSP's mind, I'm sure, when they want to partner with a managed print provider. Or is this company going to take my business or try to take my clients away from me? So
yeah, and it sometimes it's insulting. Sometimes you'll mention that to a certain MSP, and that's not going to happen, and they're probably right. But I'm telling you, half of the companies that reach out to us, that's the issue.
yeah, I
So
believe it.
so I'm ready to discuss with the viewers here, why your clients should never lease another copier or printer again. And with the caveat that if their clients have, it's not their fault. They just didn't know there was a better way.
Sure,
Uh,
sure. So
all
I've never
right.
heard of rental. I
Well,
mean, I've
you're
heard of
about
rental, like rental cars, but I've never heard of it in like a managed print aspect.
yeah. Well, we're about to talk about that. And by the way, I just got to give a shout out to my friends at MSP Bootcamp, Taher and his team. You can give them scratch notes, ideas, and they turn these into these beautiful infographics, which we're viewing today, videos, etc. So just wanted to give those guys a shout out. They do a great job, and they support a lot
Nice.
of MSPs as well. So I'm
Very
on the
cool.
sticks. I'm on the sticks, and I'm also doing the talking. So we'll try to make this as smooth as possible here. So let's jump into it. Right out of the beginning, ownership. That's the area where your client gets put in the box. Once that lease is signed, the bank owns your equipment, and you're in a relationship. And contrast that with how we do business. Anything we place at a client site, printers or copiers, we own them. We're the only company that can do this at any scale because it's incredibly capital intensive. Many of the deals we do, we break even on the equipment we place in 3 years. If we just do a 3 or 4 copier deal, it could be $50,000 worth of the equipment. So uh, there's a reason that not everybody is doing this, and the benefits we're going to go through that this creates for the clients are numerous. So let's start with I just got a list of bullets here, and I'm going to kind of do a side by side. Credit. Now, this is more about smaller clients or startups. We want to put them through financial gymnastics, right? Where a traditional lease, absolutely, you got to sign your life away. We trust our MSPs are going to bring us vetted clients, and we roll the dice. We take a little bit of the risk. So that doesn't apply to larger organizations, but definitely the smaller ones. This has been a great benefit to many of our MSPs clients. Um, when you get to the agreements, in the lease world, it's document after document after document, and that's just where the confusion begins. And in place of that, we have a simple one-page agreement. We can make T's and C's. We can make any changes that are needed. I've never lost a deal because we couldn't figure out, a term or a sticking point, if you will.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and we also get clients are brought to us, they were burned, right, for different reasons, and they're hesitant. And even though they trust their MSP, they're like, who is this TotalPrint? So depending on the scenario, um, we may just throw a handshake deal and throw a demo device out there, or we may put a device out and let's say it's on a 5-year agreement. We may give them 60, 90 days for any reason to return the device. So
Okay.
we don't sweat the small stuff. We like to. You're gonna hear constantly through this. We like to keep things simple and easy. And again, I'm given the flexibility to just really create the program and run it as I wish.
As you were talking about it, I was thinking about the word simple. You guys make it simple.
Oh yeah. So for anyone that's been on the other side, yeah, they'll realize this as we go through it. So the flexibility piece, you can see what I have under the traditional lease. You have none. Your client, once they sign that lease, your client's an account number. That 50 page per minute color copier that is doing a great job for them, that's just a serial number to the bank. The so you with us, I say there on the slide, freedom to upgrade. But as the larger the client, the more important flexibility is. So we have large clients that have multiple locations, and if they close a location, they give the equipment back. It comes off their bill. They need equipment, we add it, and it's just constantly upgrade, downgrade, add and remove. Larger clients, yeah, even smaller ones, they're asked to make a 5-year decision, and we just say, let's get what we think we need in place now, and let's just continue to smooth it in. I like to say we like the right equipment, the right place at the right time, and flexibility is the larger the client, the more important this part of our offering is.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah, so payment, call it commissions, the slide might be a little bit confusing. Once the lease is signed, the paper is sold to the bank. The copier company is paid, the sales rep is paid. And what that means is they're now handed off to a service department. And
Okay.
sometimes they're handed off to an outsourced service department, which is very common in the copier leasing world. And you got to ask yourself, do they offer IT services? Pretty much everyone is. So, you contrast that with our offering. The team that sells you the deal from our side, they stay with the MSP, they stay with the client for the life of the relationship. We have an incredible service department that I've talked about, and I'll keep talking about it because it's what differentiates us. But we like to have an extra set of eyes and take care of our clients, make sure the supplies are getting there, make sure the service calls are being done. So that that's a big difference. In the copier sales world, the reps are told to sell the deal, get paid, and go find the next one. Um, Warranty. Now, there's a couple points to this one. I put 90 days, whether it's HP, Konica, pick it, right? It's generally you get a 90-day warranty. Now, anybody that signs a lease is, of course, going to have a service agreement wrapped around it. And of the few leases that I've written, I had one instance where this really opened my eyes. And what it was is after 90 days, let's say you get a lemon. Well, the problem is now our service department has to prove to the manufacturer that there's really an issue. The manufacturer has to prove to the bank that there's an issue. And then the bank has to go through all these gyrations to swap a serial number out. Because remember, it's just a serial number to them. So, that with what we do, if we have an issue, a lemon type scenario, let's swap the device out first, sort the details out later, because I own the equipment. So I don't answer to anybody. Um, we want a happy client. We want clients for lifetime. Another example of that would be, let's say you sign that 5-year lease versus our 5-year rental agreement. Well, let's say 3-4 years into that lease, that device is just getting old and just having service problems. Well, guess what? Bank doesn't care. Your service organization certainly will do their best to put band-aids on it. But if you need a new device, well, you can go buy one or you can go lease another one. With us, if we run into that scenario, we swap the device and we keep going. When we run our accounts properly, we get out of this whole every 5 years, I must make a new decision, robotic, like disrupt the environment.
Sure.
We're just, and our larger clients, we just keep rolling and just keep, keep the equipment and keep it going. So it's, that's kind of a couple things that can be an annoyance if nothing else. Um, Likewise, adding equipment. If you're in the lease world and you got one device and you want to add another one a year later, you want it to be concurrent. Do you want a new lease? Do you want the pricing to remain the same? Do you want paperwork, paperwork, paperwork? And with us, you sign one agreement at the beginning. You have access to a product guide. You have access to anything that we provide, from the small desktop laser printer to the large production machine. And I'm going to say that this, again, the larger the client, the more important this is. Simplicity. Our clients, if they want to add equipment, they send an email. I need one of these. I need it to go there, and that's it. What we do at that point, we get the equipment to the location, we get it delivered, we get it installed, and it gets added to the bill.
Nice.
So yeah, it is. Believe me, it's refreshing, especially our clients. These guys everyone's busy. Everyone
Yep.
doesn't have time. Print is the last thing anybody wants to deal with. But so we try to make it easy on them. Property tax, real quick. Everybody pays property tax. The government has to pay property tax. With managed print, we don't charge it. So there's a little bit of savings for you right there. So let me go down to the final pieces here. Now, regardless if you lease or you rent, there's always going to be some T's and C's, right? And what I want to point out here, this is more on the service side of your acquisition of your equipment. And
Hmm.
this is really about, there's a proposal that salespeople put in front of the client, and then just like buying a car, and then there's the agreement, right? You get put in the other room and it's like, oh, okay, let's see what's really going on here. So let's just start with these hidden charges, these little games, these little things to look out for. And Clients doing these are just simple things to just have them check out. So let's start with, the cost per page, right? Usually on line 3 or 4 of the service agreement is what's called an escalator, right? And what is that? That's where the copier company can raise your cost per page every year, and sometimes up to
Hmm.
15%. And believe me, it says up to whatever that number is, that's what the number is going to be. So that proposal that's in front of that they put in front of the client, and there's what appears to be a nice low cost per page. Well, they don't know until they're ready to sign that number is going to be walked up over time. So we say, we give you a fair price. Let's just lock it in for the term. And let's what do we want to do here? We want to keep it simple again. Similarly, another tactic is, you're sitting, the sales rep sitting in front of the client. They tell them that, oh, well, you print about 3,000 pages a month. So let's include 3,000 pages a month. Gets a little bump for the sales reps' commissions, but it does absolutely nothing for the client. If the
Hmm.
client doesn't print 3,000 pages, guess what they get to pay for? 3,000
3,000
pages.
pages.
Guess what? They pay actual. So, and so our model is, hey, and it's easier for us too. If you print something or you copy something, if it creates a piece of paper, we're going to bill you for it. We'll collect those on a monthly basis. So, and think back to my pandemic story at the beginning of this presentation. Think about how many companies had leases that they were paying for printers or for pages, and their offices were closed. That's just, I'm not, we're hoping that will never happen again, but I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
saying, let's keep it easy here. Let's just charge you for what you actually do. Um, in regards to renewals, um, when this has happened to us. The MSP has put us with the client. We're ready to pull the trigger. They're loving everything that we put in front of them, only to find out that one of the documents they signed had that the cancellation window was 60 to 90 days, or in the last 30 days, or before there was 30 days left. And what happens? The client's stuck with a dying device. They get to pay for it for another year. And oh, by the way, their cost per page is probably going to get escalated again. Um, and then the final thing is savings, right? Savings is like a byproduct of our program. I put 20 to 30% down. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. That's hard savings. The soft costs, the simplicity, the flexibility. I always got to throw our national service footprint in as well. That's what matters most. So I was kind of joking back to the original price in that final piece, and you know they were told it was going to be one thing. Over the course of 5 years, it was walked up to another level. And so their savings is they get to go back to the pricing that they originally signed for. And so
Nice.
the I would say, if you like what you heard, my team is ready to engage. We have, I could have gone down a bunch of rabbit holes. I actually didn't. There's so much more that we have to share that we bring to the table, Scott. We support customer devices. Customer that bought all those devices, we don't just throw them away. If they're 10 years old, we may be able to just put them on a program and let's get a little bit more life out of them. In addition to printers and copiers and production machines, we have a massive wide format business. There's so much opportunity in the MSP community for our wide format business, the schools that they're in, and just so many different industries. We just rolled out our PRM, so which we're really excited about, and that's our portal for our MSPs to go get the content they need to get us out of this back and forth emailing. And our MSP partners are busy, and there's times when we send an email and they'll miss it and they'll forget to send it to the client. So a ton of exciting stuff happening over here. we'd love to be added to anybody's stack as just an option to have with them. And other than that, my team's below there on the screen, and that's about what I have to say.
Awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much for your time. You did an excellent job explaining the reasons why, managed print and particularly rental is a better option than lease in a lot of different cases. So, you've definitely got me thinking, and I'm going to be reaching out to you and your colleagues here. So the best way to reach you, what's your, why don't you tell everyone your email address so they can reach out to you direct if they need to?
Yeah, I mean the guys on this list are definitely the ones that run the show. Dan Gayton,
Okay.
um, yeah, he's the one that
So he's the best one to reach out to if they ready to get
yeah, when
started.
yeah, well, you know, I love to be involved, but I kind of get pulled in a few different directions, and I don't
Sure.
like getting chastised by my team for dropping the ball. So between
Gotcha.
they'll get the partners onboarded and get them educated, and then just figure out what's the best way to help them.
So awesome. So Dan.Gayton at Total Price, I mean,
Total Print USA.
TotalPrintUSA.com and Kevin.Harris at TotalPrintUSA.com. Awesome. Well, Brian, thanks again for your time. We're going to have to do this again. We'll learn all about managed print in the next one as well with some other great topics. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, Brian.
All right, thanks,
All right.
Scott.
Have a great day. Yes, sir.
All
Bye bye.
right.